Hello, sippers. I'm Demetrius.
I'm Renee.
And I'm Martia.
And this is Sipping on Wine, a true crime podcast, and more. Let's get into it, ladies.
Hey, ladies. Hey, sippers.
Hey, ladies. Hey, sippers. How y'all doing tonight?
I'm actually really good.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm good too. Then let me just charge on in there with that.
Okay.
Me three. I'm great.
Okay, in her thrace. Okay. So, all right, ladies, let's just jump on into this true crime today and our drink because it's a little lengthy and it's got a lot of details that are going to blow your mind.
Ooh, I'm ready.
So, our drink of the week is called Red Wine Margarita. And we'll list all the ingredients on our social media. This drink contains tequila, red wine, and triple sec. So, are you ready for this week, True Crime Tuesday?
Is it a
Let me fasten my seatbelt. Let me get ready.
Before we begin, I want to give a disclaimer. This episode may contain some material that is unsuitable for some listeners. Discretion is always advised. Now, with that being said, let's dive into it. Today's true crime is about a double homicide that took place in Holland, Michigan on November 21st, 1987. This case went cold for 27 years because of no possible suspects or evidence to catch a killer at the time of the murder, until two cold case detectives found the big break they needed to get justice for both Rick and Gail Brink, with an unlikely witness and an unlikely suspect. Gail Brink was born as Gail Wingarden on April 24, 1965. She grew up in a family of 8 children. Gail was known to be very popular growing up. As a child, seeing her parents struggle to make ends meet to support the large family, she made a promise to herself to always work hard and buy whatever she wanted. Gail's first job was a waitress gig, and she made good money from it. Gail's older sister, Cheryl Murphy, stated in a documentary called A Wedding and a Murder, Gail had no problem attracting men because she was very beautiful. Now, at the age of 18 years old, Gail would meet a gentleman named Lars. He was a builder, and the two fell in love and built a new home together. But in 1984, after only a year into their relationship, Gail would tell Lars she's leaving. She had met someone new at her job, and his name was Rick Brink. He was a 25-year-old contractor and very attractive. The two would seem to have many things in common. Lars didn't take good to the news so well, so he became very violent. As she was trying to pack to leave, Lars gave Gail a black eye and slammed the dresser drawer on her hand. Unfortunately for Lars, Gail's older brother, Ryan Wingarden, came in and broke Lars' nose, threatening him to never touch his sister again. After only a year of dating, Rick and Gail decided to get married. The two had a very beautiful ceremony, and it was Gail's father who gave her away to the handsome groom. Upon the return from their cruise ship honeymoon, Rick purchased a house with a 20-acre lot on Ransom Street. The house was previously owned by a motorcycle gang member, and his name was Shotgun Sid. Y'all, I laughed at that name. Shotgun Sid, okay? It was noted that he couldn't keep up with the payments on the mortgage, and it fell into foreclosure with the bank. The house was in need of an overhaul and renovations, but the pair would take on the challenge and begin building their dream home, and focus on one room in particular, a nursery, in hopes of growing their family. On November 21st, 1987, Rick and Gail would attend a wedding and come home to relax. That would be the last time anyone, both family and friends, would hear from them. 2 days would pass without anyone hearing from Rick and Gail. Their jobs and family both became concerned of their absence. So on November 23rd, 1987, only 2 days after not hearing from the couple, Rick's parents decided to check on them by going to the house, and once they arrived, what they had found made them immediately call the police. When Ottawa County Sheriff's Department arrived, they quickly go in to assess the home. When they enter the master bedroom, they see women's clothing all over the floor, and Gail was lying on her back on the couple's bed with a pillow placed over her head. When the sheriff removed the pillow, he discovered there were 3 gunshot wounds to the head. It was clear that robbery was not a motive because all of their belongings were still in place in the home. Gail's wallet and purse was untouched and no valuable items were stolen, not even the jewelry that Gail wore. As they continued their investigation on the Brinks property, they noticed that Rick's Chevy Blazer was still parked in the driveway. With a closer look inside, they could see Rick's body laying across the front seat of both the driver and passenger side. Cops began suspecting that this was a murder-suicide, but no weapon was found near him or underneath his body. They also discovered that Rick was covered in blood and he had been shot twice in the face with a .22 caliber gun. This case was immediately labeled as a double homicide, but the investigators weren't able to find any evidence in or outside the home. There were no fingerprints or shoe prints left at the scene. There was no trace of a person or persons being on the property or any type of struggle. Authorities quickly began investigating everyone from the family to friends. They even investigated Gail's ex-boyfriend, Lars, because her brother, Ryan, suggested he could be a possible suspect. But Lars' alibi checked out. An unlikely person stepped forward to help with the investigation. Feeling some type of guilt of what happened to the couple, Shotgun Sid, y'all, paid investigators a visit because he thought maybe people came to look for him and the Brinks were targeted instead as some type of revenge. But that led to nothing. Only a month later, after the brutal murder of Rick and Gail, a new case will be brought to light. A woman named Debra Wilson will be murdered in her home, which was roughly only a few miles away from the Brinks' home. This murder was similar to the Brinks, with no witnesses, no evidence, and no forced entry into the home, and nothing was stolen. Debra Wilson was found outside her home with her throat slashed. Investigators tried to see if the two had any possible connections or links, being that it was a small town and the couples had ran in the same circle of friends, but it yielded no results. This news shook the community of Holland. Who would have committed such a horrifying act? Soon, the Brinks and Wilson cases would go cold, not only for weeks, but for months and years. And almost 2 decades after the murders, in 2009, the Ottawa Sheriff's Department started a cold case investigation unit, a team of individuals who would dedicate their time to solving only cold cases. Investigators initially tried to solve the Wilson case first, but their lead suspect would die before he could be convicted. But in 2011, investigators would open the Brink case, and it would finally gain the momentum needed to be solved. The lead investigators on the team were Venus Ripper and David Blakely. They would add a whole new perspective on the case because of their tactical way of reviewing the alibis of the individual statements taken 20 plus years ago. The pair instantly saw a discrepancy in the statements that were made by both Ryan Wingarden, Gail's brother, and Pam, who was at the time Ryan's girlfriend and who is now his wife of 27 years. In February 2012, Detective Ripper and Blakely decided to visit Ryan and Pam at their home for further questioning because the statements made back in 1987 by the two didn't match each other's story. Ryan was the only one available to be questioned, and he gave them the roundabout with his story. But Pam came to the station and gave her alibi. Feeling that there was no more to be told of the story, detectives decided to dig deeper into Ryan and Pam's past. What they found was Ryan was not only dating Pam at the time, but he was also dating another woman. Her name is Chris Beline. They contacted Beline to see if she could provide them with any details about Ryan. After questioning her about Ryan's relationship with Gail, she didn't have much to give. But just before the pair decided to leave and walk away with nothing new, Beline tells the detectives she has something to report. She recalls Ryan showing her a picture of Gail in a bikini on a boat and him saying to her, quote, "Look at how hot she is," end quote. Chris would say that's weird to speak that way of his sister and how hot she looked in the picture. And please brace yourselves, sippers and ladies. Ryan then confided to Chris that he had actually had a sexual relationship with Gail. but
Ew.
it was not
What?
consensual.
Oh, but it wasn't consensual?
It was not consensual.
Mm.
They instantly decided to no longer interview Ryan, but start the interrogation to get a confession. During his interrogation, he denied any sexual acts that had occurred and that they were just kids playing games. But it is Ryan's wife who will give this cold case the motive needed to catch a killer. Turning their attention back to Pam for more questioning, Ryan Wingarden would not allow her to be interviewed alone. He needed to be present to monitor what she told detectives. So they devised a plan to get Pam alone. They explained to Pam that all they wanted was the truth and they were a cold case unit. They also told her, "We aren't going away. All they had was time." They continued to press for answers. Pam agreed and began to break down what happened on November 21st, 1987. Her story goes like this in summary. Ryan comes to her apartment and tells her he shot and killed Rick and Gail because they thought they were too good and better than everyone else. He also showed Pam the gun used to shoot both Rick and Gail. It was a 22 caliber revolver. This was it. This was the motive needed to arrest Ryan. While interviewing Pam, Ryan called her back to back in hopes of intercepting what Pam could be telling detectives. So they acted quickly to stop Ryan and bring him in before he could get to Pam. In my research, I found out that Pam also told detectives on the day of the murder, Ryan took her to the Brink's home. Outside, she could see as she passed by Rick's Blazer that he was deceased, laying in the front seat. Ryan then leads her into the house to see Gail's body. He lifts up the pillow that was covering her face and says, "Isn't she beautiful?" He quickly tells Pam at gunpoint, if she tells anybody, this is what's going to happen to her and her son. But as an extra bonus of information, Ryan and Pam married in 1989, sippers and ladies, and they have 3 children together. So, and just when I thought this case was a cut and dry case closed, it just keeps pulling back layers. So think about this for a minute. Pam had to hold this secret for 27 years. Ryan held all the cards in his hand. He controlled his narrative. She was the only other person besides Ryan who knew for over 2 decades what truly happened to Rick and Gail. Oh, and let me not forget at the beginning, remember I said that this is wife. So I think she married him out of fear, y'all. That was just my little
Oh my
tidbit of
goodness.
that.
And had
I
kids with
think
the
she
man.
married.
Oof.
Yes. So I think him marrying her was like a way of sealing the deal of stopping her from speaking and leaving
Right.
him and keeping her in silence. So he may have loved her and she may have loved him, but that was a secret they had together, and I don't think he
That
wanted.
was a way to keep him quiet.
When Ryan Wingarden was picked up and brought in, he confessed that he had sexual episodes with his sister, starting at the age of 12 for him, and Gail was 9 at the time. They were only comparing body parts, defending himself, saying nothing sexual about it, just kid stuff. The next time was 2 years later. He stated they were smoking marijuana and, quote, "we just groped each other," end quote. He also maintained that my sister did not lose her virginity to me. Why would you throw that out there if nothing happened? You had to specifically say she didn't lose her virginity.
Exactly. That's
Right.
crazy.
So are you slightly confessing without confessing?
That's
So,
confessing.
right. So after that confession, Ryan was arrested in January 2013. Fast forward to March 11th, 2014, almost 3 decades later, Ryan Wingarden's trial was set to begin. The prosecutors called to the stand Pam Wingarden. She tells the courts everything she told the detectives. Pam testified that on Saturday, November 21st, she told Ryan that they needed to do laundry. They went to Pete's laundromat, and after returning home, Ryan left for a couple of hours, and Pam did not question where he was going. He came back later that night, and they smoked marijuana and had sex before he left again. She did not see Ryan again until Sunday, November 22nd. He had returned to her apartment, upset and holding his head. Pam testified that what he told her was he shot Rick and Gail. Pam asked him to leave, and he did, but he called later and asked if he could come back over. She agreed, and that's when he told her they were going to his place, but Ryan stopped by Rick and Gail's home. Pam also testified, when we stopped at their home, we passed by Rick's truck, and that's when I saw Rick. Then Ryan grabbed her wrist, walked me to the house, to the bedroom, and that's when I saw Gail. He lifted up the pillow and said to me, if you go to the police or tell anyone what I did here, this could happen to you. During her testimony, Ryan would lash out, shouting at her, you black-hearted lying. I can't believe you are telling lies on me, Pam. I can only imagine how she felt as he was shouting those words to her. Like, she held this in for 27 years and she get to release it in front of the public. And this man is still trying to control the narrative and manipulate this woman. So I felt so sorry because they did show like the camera pan to her. Oh, it's horrible. So let me add this in as well. While in jail, Ryan still wanted to control his narrative. He spoke to an inmate named Daryl Kane and confessed to him that he killed Rick and Gail. In my opinion, I think he only told Kane what happened because he needed to get it off his chest, because to him, he felt like, okay, I can't get convicted for this. Nobody's going to find out that it was me, and I won't be, sent to jail for anything. He just wanted to like justify what he did in my mind, because why would you tell an inmate what you did and you're going to court? You're in court actively for a double homicide. So Daryl Kane, y'all, the prosecutors brought him in as a witness to testify against Ryan Weingarten. So Gail and Ryan's older sister, Cheryl Murphy, had also testified against Ryan during the trial. And the prosecutor stated the motive was he killed the couple because he was jealous of the pair and he didn't want to know he had sex with his sister. But peep this out. Everyone in the family felt that Ryan was guilty, but their mother. So can you imagine if the daughter, I don't know how she felt, but this is my conclusion. Like, she probably had this happen to her and kept it a secret between them two, because who can she tell? If the mom still don't even believe all the evidence presented now, what would she have believed back in when they were younger and kids at 12 and 9 years old?
And not only that, I almost wonder if when you're a kid and something like that happens at such a young age, do you not even understand that that's not anything normal?
Right.
Like, you're keeping that secret, but then do you even understand that you shouldn't be keeping that secret and that you need to tell somebody,
Exactly.
That's just, this whole story is just, wow.
Yes. So on March 28th, y'all, 2014, it took the jury only 4 hours to deliberate after being presented with details and information on the case for days and weeks of the testimonies presented. The jury had reached their verdict and found Ryan Weingarten guilty of 2 counts of first-degree murder. And on April 21st, 2014, Ryan Weingarten was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole by Ottawa County Circuit Judge John Hustling, who stated during the sentencing that Weingarten was a controlling, calculated killer. So I have to agree with it. He was controlling and very calculated. You manipulated that for 20-something years. So this case may have taken 27 years, y'all, to be solved, but in the end, he got what he deserved. And I just want to throw in there, right after his sentencing, he did try to do an appeal for his conviction 3 times, and each time he was denied. So I found information that he has now exhausted all of his appeals.
Never guessed the way this case turned out. Wow.
Because he was jealous. I think he was just jealous also. Now, it didn't state. I just think he was jealous of the new relationship. She got married. She was moving on. He couldn't control her no more. Now, true enough, they did say he was scared that she would tell their secret. And, so I'm thinking maybe she told the husband. So he thought by killing her, his secret was gone. But you told someone else, your wife.
Yeah.
That just let you know he was a manipulator. He was a calculated murderer. Well, the judge said killer, so I'm going to go with the judge. The judge said killer. Hey, controlled, calculated killer. And that's the case, y'all, of Gail and Rick Brink. Okay, sippers, now we're going to move into our next segment where we have discussions about missing persons report. And right now, I do have some updated information on a case that I talked about a few weeks back on Zion Foster. So let's dive into that now. So I don't know if anybody can remember me doing a missing person on Zion Foster. She was from East Point, Michigan. I do have an update
Oh, wow. Okay.
on her missing persons report.
Oh, wow.
Just to give some kind of feedback, she was last seen on January 4th, 2022 of this year in East Point, Michigan. She was picked up by her from her family's home around 10:45 p.m. to go hang out with her cousin, and his name is Jalen Brazier. Now I didn't have all that information the last time, but I do have it this time. And at the time, Zion was 17 and her cousin is 23. So I found the latest update for this on NBCnews.com and on clickondetroit.com. So after texting her mother, she was on her way home. She never showed up at home. Her mother, Sierra Milton, reported her daughter missing on January 5th. On January 19th, the Detroit Police Department had stated at a press conference that their person of interest was Jalen Brazier, and he turned himself in that evening for questioning. On Monday, January 24th, he faced one count of lying to a peace officer in a violent crime investigation and one count of lying to a peace officer for lying about throwing away Miss Zion's Foster's body in a dumpster. So he knew all this time where she was.
Wow.
He helped the mother put up flyers, helped look for her in a
That
search
was the people
party.
that be the closest. And
Yes,
want to
and he
help her. What?
acted
Yeah. Ugh.
right, and he acted
Oh,
very
wait a minute.
concerned.
Was this where he tried to say he was waiting for her to find a ride or something like that? Is this that
Mhm.
same case?
Yep.
Oh wow, I just saw this on a true crime show recently.
Really.
Yes, that's correct. So I
Mhm.
don't remember you covering it honestly, but
Mhm.
I just
That
saw
was
this.
Zion. And
Oh
that's
my
when I was,
goodness.
yes. So while he and his cousin were waiting together, were hanging out together, he said they were smoking marijuana at his house. And he told the judge during his sentencing, I don't know exactly how she passed or what caused her to pass, but I just know 1 minute she was cool, she was fine, she laid back for a minute, and the next thing I know, she was just dead. And he also said, I don't know what caused it. I did not cause it or anything like that. I reacted stupidly off of fear and panic like I never felt before in my life. He also stated he didn't think about calling 911 as his mental state was not logically in place there because they were smoking marijuana. Quoted saying, I wish I could take it back. I would have called the ambulance and called her mom. I wish I could take it back. End quote. But, I don't believe him. Why would you dump the body in a dumpster and leave her? You just left her and then you lied to the mom and said you didn't know where she was located and you didn't know where she was and you had never been with her or anything.
All up in their face. Ugh.
Right. So I do have
That's
a clip
terrible.
I want to play.
Okay.
Milton. Zion. She just turned 17 in November. She shares her location with me everywhere she goes. She asks if she can go wherever I would allow her to go. There are yeses and there are no's. Because as a parent, you want to protect your babies. I have 6 kids. Zion is my oldest. All of my children look up to her. We were supposed to be planning her prom, her dress and colors. I'm still getting emails from the school right now for graduation pictures and just graduation. And now we can't do any of that because she asked me if she could go with Jaden. And I said yes because I trust him and I thought he would be responsible. But the fact is that it seems to me like he was hiding. He didn't pull up in my driveway. He pulled up in my neighbor's driveway. And he's pulled up in my driveway before. We've given each other a hug. I've spoken to him. He came that night and he picked my baby up by pulling into my neighbor's driveway and then parking in the front of my other neighbor's driveway. He called me. I didn't call him. He called me on the 5th when my baby didn't come home. He called me to say, I don't know why Zion would lie and put me into this. I haven't seen her in years. I haven't seen her in months. And I'm like, what? It wasn't too long ago that I saw you. And even knowing that my baby has been in contact with him, I kept going to his house. I just wanted him to tell me the truth. I stayed up for nights, for days, panicking and being so fearful. Oh God, please don't let my baby be dead. Please, God, don't let my baby be just thrown away like she's nothing. These are the things that I pray. I was fasting, my children not getting sleep, not eating, can't go to work. I'm a single parent. Everything that I do is for my children. Every ounce of money and time or whatever and energy is for them. It's to make sure that they're good. It's to make sure that they're surrounded by people that love them and protect them. And so, yes, Zion, you can go with your cousin who you have in your phone as Pharaoh because he's your favorite on that side of the family. And to say, why didn't you think about my baby? What if you were so high you didn't know she was alive? And you just threw her in a dumpster in the cold without a coat? And if that's the case, that means that my baby was crushed in the process of how trash is taken and picked up and placed in a landfill where she will never be found. I will never know. I will never know. I hope I get to see my baby again. And as far as the many times that I went to his house during this search, Your Honor, he helped me post flyers of my baby in his neighborhood, on the corner of his house, the street that he lived. He told me, along with his mother, I would not lie to you. I know this has got to be really fearful for you. But I'm telling you, I have not seen her. I have not been around her. His mother said, my baby wouldn't lie to me. And so now everybody is suffering. My children are suffering. And they have to grow up knowing that their cousin did something this awful. And that their big sister isn't there anymore. And we have so many events and so many life changes that are happening now. My son came to his house and he didn't recognize him, but my son was so angry and he just knocked at the door and was like, is Zion here? Is Zion here? You could have came and said something. You could have called 911. You could have called your mom. You could have called relatives that are all around. Somebody could have helped. Somebody could have known something, but it seems like more than just a panic. It seems like you did something or you gave something. Because why, if you love her, if she says that she loves you and she always does, and you say that you love her, then why? How is it that someone that can love someone could just dispose of them in trash like she's nothing? And then come with me and post flyers and reach out to me and tell me, I don't know. I know you're looking for Zion, but I don't know. I haven't seen her. I haven't spoken to her. I don't know why she would use me. Why lie? This is something that can't be repaired. She cannot be replaced. And we will never have closure. And as much as I love you guys, as much as I love that family, you have caused such distinction that it's hard to trust family at all. And now my babies are even more isolated. Because how can I trust family when family is what it is? I will never forgive you. And it may not matter. But I hope that your children grow up without you so that they can be better.
So how do y'all feel about what she said in her victim impact statement?
It was sad, definitely heartbreaking to hear her talk, but I just kind of, this might sound a little heartless a little bit, I don't know, but I just kind of feel like when someone does something on the level that he did, even if he didn't mean to, he said he didn't kill her, but he discarded her body, you know, so you definitely was aware to cover it up. I kind of feel like all the talking that she did might have fallen on deaf ears, because somebody that's heartless like that, I don't know, I just feel like it's sad, but she was just talking to kind of wanted him to kind of know how she felt, but I feel like he probably ain't even gonna process it the way that she wanted him to.
Right.
So
yeah, but what she said at the end though, she was like, I hope your kids grow up without
you so they can be better. Yeah, that's deep.
That was deep. And also I want to interject that Judge Edward Savito, he sentenced him to 23 months to 4 years in prison for lying to police, and conceded that there was only one person who would truly ever know what happened to Miss Foster. But he only got 23 months to 4 years, and that was just for lying.
Wow.
So he stated to her lawyer, if you want to pursue murder charges, or then they would have to go through another court circuit to handle that case. There would have to be, but he was just there to sentence him for lying to the police. Judge Savito said, what happened there, I have no idea. The demise of this poor young lady is information that I will never possess, nobody will possess. Quite frankly, it's unique to your memory, which you did not share, which you intentionally then put this family through unnecessary trauma, despair, heartache for no reason. That's the update for Miss Zion Foster.
That's so sad.
All right, sippers, to bring things on a lighter note, since this was a heavy hitter with our true crime and our missing persons update, I want to do what we call a quickie. So ladies, do y'all remember when I was saying about federal laws that you break without knowing?
Yes.
I have something to follow up with that, just a little quickie. Okay. So a Florida man was arrested for allegedly throwing a cookie at his girlfriend.
Don't tell me that that's a crime. Is that assault or something?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. A Florida man was recently arrested for allegedly throwing a cookie at his girlfriend. So Smith Wade, age 41, was taken into custody after deputies got a call that to his home that his girlfriend reported he threw a hard piece of cookie and it hit her on the forehead.
How hard was it though?
That's what I wanted to know.
Because if they put hard, it must have been like it might have left a little a little mark on her forehead or something.
Okay, so let me read what this concluded. Okay, Smith's girlfriend reportedly told investigators that he threw a hard piece of cookie and it hit her in the forehead, which deputies noted was red when they responded to the scene. So 41-year-old Wade Smith, according to the news station, confessed to authorities that he threw the cookie at her. And online records from the sheriff's office indicate Smith was booked at the Pasco County Jail in Land O'Lakes, Florida, on a $500 bond. So yeah, it's an offense. Yeah, they called it domestic battery.
I guess.
Yeah, so he was arrested for domestic battery after he threw a cookie at his girlfriend. So my thing was,
that's stupid.
Y'all be careful. Remember we said snowballs, you throwing snowballs, you putting your gum on the ground, just a little update. Watch your laws, because throwing a cookie
I mean, not that I throw food
It's
at people, but
considered
I'm just like
domestic battery.
yeah, like you can get a record for that.
You can get a record.
Ooh.
And I can't wait to post his mugshot because he looked like, I can't believe I'm in here for this.
Have y'all ever thrown any food or any
cookie.
item at your spouse?
A cookie.
Mm,
A cookie,
I
though?
don't think
No, I'm just
so.
saying, have you thrown anything just in all the years? Have you thrown something and it actually hit them?
Well,
I don't think I have. Have
not
you?
out of anger or nothing like that. But you know,
I
when you
haven't.
outside playing around.
Well, no, I'm
that
not
can
saying
happen.
playing. I'm just wondering, like if if you guys are arguing or something, you ever pick something up and chucked it at them.
No.
I mean, I think about doing that all the time, but
it's a thought there. It's always a thought.
It's just always there.
If I could pick this ironing board up and shove it, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But
I'm sure
yeah,
I've thrown something, but it's never been food. I'm too.
Well, no, I'm just saying anything. A pencil, a pen.
I've thrown something. Yeah.
Oh, really?
I thought you specifically said food before.
Oh.
Yeah,
And it landed, and it actually
food's
landed.
going in my mouth.
Right,
No.
Renee. Did it land and hit?
I'm pretty sure he blocked. It's been so
Okay.
long. I'm pretty sure he
Okay.
blocked it with his hands. I
Okay.
can't tell you exactly what it was.
Because we don't want you going down, for domestic battery or anything like that.
But yeah, I thought based on the story being that he threw a cookie, I thought she was asking specifically about food. I'm not throwing food. Food's going in my mouth.
Right.
Right.
So I thought that was I was like, man, you can go to jail for throwing a cookie and it leaving a red mark. A cookie? Maybe he was upset, man. That cookie might have hit her like a softball or something because it wasn't a baseball throw. It must have been like a softball throw.
Yeah, but man.
It clunked her in the head. What kind of cookie they got in their house?
I know.
To leave a red marking. Somebody in their line. But whatever. So don't throw a cookie because you can go to jail.
I mean, I kind of understand it, I guess. Because, I mean, if somebody threw a cookie and it left a mark on my forehead, that means they threw it really hard and it was a really hard-ass cookie.
And they had a lot of anger. So maybe, okay, you bring a little light to it. Because I was like, a cookie?
Because if it happened to me, like if I got clocked in the head with a cookie and it was hard enough that it left a mark, I'd be pissed. And something needed to happen. But then you look at him like, man, let that go. But then you're like, no, like that hurt. I don't know.
I'm calling 911. You got a big
knot on your forehead.
And then you got to call 911.
Yeah, because I mean, how you gonna explain the knot on your forehead?
Right.
What say? I got hit in the head with a cookie.
No, what he gonna say? I got locked up for throwing a cookie.
Exactly.
Like,
that too.
Oh,
man, you in jail? What happened? What you do? What? I threw a cookie. Like.
That, So I just thought I'd add that onto our list of things that you can be charged for.
I guess.
Let's continue that list on the next episode.
Yeah, I know, right?
So I got one more quickie for our sippers. I don't know if anybody's seen this. This comes from the New York Post. It says, I'm a proud mistress, and here are 4 lies cheating men tell you. Okay. Amy Cups, age 32, only sleeps with married men, and she doesn't care that she's a homewrecker. And she said cheaters are thrilled in bed, mainly because they haven't been pleased in years, so they are willing to do whatever it takes to get her excited. She says she tends to go for men that are in their late 30s or 40s, as they are much more romantic, financially stable, and experienced in bed. So let's go to her little 4 tips that she giving married women. Okay. Let's see if y'all want to fight her or not. I don't know.
Let's see.
So the North Carolina native explained that the first lie a cheater will tell his partner is that they're meeting up with a friend for a quick drink. Take notes, ladies, take notes. And they'll tell their wives not to wait up all night for them to return home. So, and according to Cups, the second lie revolves around absences that account
I
for.
hope she does know when he says, "Don't wait up."
Okay.
She's still gonna wait up and see what time.
She's still gonna wait up.
Back up in his
exactly.
bed. But okay.
So the second one she said revolves around their absences that account for a longer period of time. He'll likely say, I have meetings and I am traveling all week for work. And she said, thirdly, what he'll tell his wife is not to call his work phone because his boss will get mad and upset if he takes personal calls.
Call his personal, call his cell phone. What?
Right. So don't call the work phone. And she said, finally, the fourth lie a cheater would tell his wife is, I got a new credit card, but it's just for work. So don't worry about it. I don't know if this is like for men of higher stature status, like millionaire or the six-figure status or however.
I think
But
this mistress is
yeah,
not understanding or doesn't realize that these wives that they're telling these lies to or whatever at home is probably smarter than she
right,
thinks and giving them credit for. And they probably
right.
already peeped him and known some of the stuff that he's doing. And, like,
And she also stated that beware women, cheaters spend more money on their mistresses than they do on their spouse. That was her bonus clip to that. So,
They spend more money on their mistress.
than they do their
Mhm.
spouses.
they don't
So
know
I was
that
trying
their
to,
wife knows their pockets, but
okay.
yeah.
So I was trying to figure out like what was her motive, but she said she prefers cash over expensive gifts. And she said my lovers have pretty much bought my $500,000 house that I'm having built for myself. She said I take their money to pay my bills and pamper myself, and I can get up to $50,000 in gifts every month. So she's a busy lady.
50,000.
She
Hmm
sounds like a lady of the night. I mean, I don't know.
mm.
She don't just sound like
Yeah.
a mistress. She sounds like a prostitute. And I'm not knocking it
So I
either
don't
way
know why the New
because that's
York
none of my
Post,
business. But
right? I don't know why the New York Post saw that as a fit story, to tell
So you're saying
women.
she doesn't sound like a long time
Yeah,
female friend to a dude, maybe a one
mm-mm.
night
She
kind
said
of here or there.
she like being the mistress to marry men. She only prefers marry men. So you got a whole target going on. You just targeting people. But anyway, that's our little quickie, and I just wanted to give awareness to women. Just beware of those 4 little notes that this mistress said that your cheating husband will tell you.
You said that your cheating husband
Yeah,
is doing.
because that's what she stated.
Okay.
That's what they're gonna tell you. Those 4. So I thought that was kind of interesting that the New York Post gave her a whole page with
So
pictures
they
and
dedicated a
everything.
whole page and she got this whole write-up.
She has a whole
Like, where
write
did they
up.
find her at? And then they gave her a whole page. Like,
Yeah,
that sounds, something don't sound
someone
right with that.
someone saw
Like,
it fit to nominate her to have
they
a.
had nothing else to talk about that they gave her a whole page.
This
Okay.
article came out on March 18th, 2026. So
but they
I
gave
just
her a
want to
whole
give
page
a
like she was dropping some
Yeah,
jewels. I
right. That's what I'm
okay,
mean,
saying. Like, it's just like that
exactly.
wasn't
Talking about I'm
like,
a proud mistress. Well, okay, because for
like
some
she's helping people
reason,
out.
right.
Like,
What happened to keeping your mouth closed? I remember back in the day, not to tell my age or nothing, but the side woman didn't talk. This woman giving all the clues and telling you what she collected. But anyway, I just wanted, since we were like a sipping on wine, you know what I'm saying? I just thought I would unwind that for the ladies if you're listening.
yeah.
For for the cheating husbands now. I ain't saying everybody husband cheating, but the cheating. Well, ladies, we have come to the end of this episode. And we
It's a
hate
good
to leave.
episode.
man, that time goes by way too fast.
So we hate to leave sippers.
You gotta go.
But we gotta go.
Gotta prepare for the next episode.
Right.
Until next
There you
time.
go. Bye,
Good
sippers.
morning.
Bye, ladies. Bye.
Sippers, bye, ladies.
Bye.